wanted to ask about. Does the Biden administration have any concern with a major U.S. sports league getting into business with the Saudi Public Investment Fund?
I think we'll let the Saudi government speak to that.
I obviously know that John didn't have any comments on the golf merger, but I want to see if you had any comments on that. The White House concerns about Saudi's human rights record. Now you have a merger between the American PGA and the Saudi-backed LIV Tour. What are the feelings on that?
Look, I'm going to be in line with my NSC colleague and say the same. I'm not going to be commenting on that particular merger, so we don't have anything to share at this time.
You say there are 3 European investigations underway.
Yep.
Does the U.S. know when any one of those may be concluded?
I'd have to refer you to those 3 countries.
Is the U.S. actively investigating who did it? Why not?
There are 3 European countries that have embarked on independent investigations of this, and we're comfortable in their ability to take a hard look at this and to come up with conclusions.
So there's this gas pipeline situation, there's the drone attack in Moscow a few weeks ago, there's the missile attacks into Moscow. Is it fair to say Ukraine itself may be doing a lot more of these more brazen things than the U.S. is willing to admit?
I'll let Ukraine speak to their activities. What I can tell you, Ed, we've said it before, we don't support attacks inside Russia. And
I'm wondering if the administration has communicated that there would be any potential consequences to Ukraine if attacks like that do continue. For instance, have you made military aid conditional on preventing some of those attacks, or is Russia on the hook here because this is an illegal invasion?
I won't go into detail about the private discussions that we're having with Ukrainians.
So you can't tell us whether or not, other than expressing you don't want an escalation, you can't tell us if there's any conditional...
Oh, this is the repercussions. Look, I mean, I think just take a look at everything we've done in the last 15 months, and I guarantee you're going to see additional security assistance packages in coming days and weeks. We're going to continue to make sure that Ukraine can succeed on the battlefield, as President Biden has said, for as long as it takes.
Eli.
Excuse me, did your previous response to Ed's question on the golf leagues mean that the White House has no position on today's announced merger between...
I don't have anything to say about that today. I have no comment on that today.
I was going to ask that. Great. But also,
save me the breath.
Understanding that you're not going to get into the position on this golf merger, do you know if this merger would be subject to federal regulatory oversight from like the FTC or DOJ?
So I'm just not going to get into it from here. I'm just not.
There's a report in the Washington Post that the U.S. had reports that Ukrainians were planning an attack on the Nord Stream pipeline. Do you have any comment on the intelligence report of that? And there are also suggestions that Russia may have been responsible for that. You know, why was Russia initially, figures pointed at Russia when the U.S. might have had information that Ukrainians were planning this?
So I'm certainly not going to engage in a discussion about intelligence matters here from the podium, specifically with regard to that.
does it seem believable to you that Russia would destroy a dam and flood ethnic Russian villages and cut off a water supply to Crimea? I mean, that doesn't seem logical. It seems about as logical as blowing up one's own pipeline, doesn't it?
We've come to no conclusions on this. We're working with the Ukrainians. We'll try to get as much information as we can.